It's Wednesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. YK in the building.
Good morning, good morning.
You're here on a Wednesday. What's going on, YK?
Yeah, I thought let me just do 2 days back to back, then I can rest.
Oh, you're not coming tomorrow? We need you tomorrow. You know, we love you on Thursdays.
The gist is different with YK.
Please don't go.
I was telling you guys yesterday that, and you said use it as your banter, so I said I will use it as my banter today. That I will not be saying Nigeria has happened to me again. I will be saying Emefiele has happened to me. Or I have been Emefieled.
You have been Emefieled.
It's now my
own
verb. Emefiele is my verb.
What
all these policies that he's bringing that are just bashing people and scattering everything. Emefiele has happened to me, or I have been Emefieled.
But there must be exemptions for it for your kind of business. Honestly,
have you ever seen anywhere where they put exemption? And people keep saying, "Oh yeah, it's for the politicians." It's for the politicians will find a way around it.
They will pay the fine.
They can afford to
pay.
They can afford to go and collect 6 billion.
And pay the 5%.
And pay the 5%. What's their own?
Well, right now, what's the good thing is that we are mopping up so much money outside. Monies that are out of the bank are getting into the bank, which is a good thing. So let's look at all the sides. What is our topic today? How are you doing, Nima Akashat Zibiri?
Fine. I was hoping YK would toast me like, that
toast you
yesterday. The old school letter. I caught it the first time you said it. I laughed. I wanted to die in my house. I was hoping today that
if you're not old school, are you okay?
No,
you're not in a generation.
No, I read some funny books about such kind of things. There was this African writer from I think J.P. Clark, and he had one of the books like that where those lines were used. We used to find it funny, and our literature teacher is
so you people didn't toast yourselves like that.
No. Our turn did not come. But we used to raise the golden pen in my own generation too. At the end of
when I was in secondary school. In fact, interestingly, I saw the guy sometime this year.
Well, the one that you farted in his car?
Something.
Yeah. The one you farted in his car?
Okay, that's another guy. That was when I was older. I was an adult.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about when I was in primary school. But I just saw something in primary school. He wrote me a love letter. Love me tender, love me sweet, never let me. You have it. I would never forget that letter. I carried that letter to GSS 1. I was reading it. It was like the sweetest in my life. I held that for like 2-3 years. I was just reading the love letter.
Myself, I got love letter.
But
I was a particular person in my secondary school.
And I saw him recently this year.
Plenty. He was always writing me. He would say, from my heart, from the bottom. There was a way he used to end his poems. It was like he's a poet. He's really good with writing. I used to just love it, and he was in my church as well. I found out now he's married with 2 kids. I'm really happy for him. I'm married with 3 children, but like
I didn't get that letter, but I saw
that, but like he recognized me when he saw me. He said, "Mariah," I'm thinking, I know this face.
I saw somebody I admired seriously in secondary school, and I was grateful.
What did I admire? The crush?
It was not a crush. I admire brilliance, and it was in top class.
Okay, I think because of the holiday season.
We should have
we talking
gisted on this people
You're talking of your lovers, or your Russians or toasters, or it's a breakfast show.
YK. YK.
How about you start?
Let's go on a break.
Oh yeah,
politics is in the air. We'll be right back for the paper review. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with the nation. Banks get marching order to sell off Disco's share. With Ayu in office, no deal with Atiku, says Wike. How to end petrol crisis by reps? Oyetola, I didn't hire 12,000 workers in Osun. Imagine. 14 persons, 22 cows die in road crash. Tinubu promises to end banditry, terrorism in Northwest. CBN, abuse Naira and go to jail. Obi promises to end stealing in government. Okay. Which story are we starting with?
Should I start with
Oyetola? Yes.
Okay, so the media aide to the former governor of Osun State, Ismail Omikpidon, was in Kwara State at a stakeholders meeting with Osun young professionals, and he was surprised. He said they, as a government, were as surprised as everybody else when it was announced that they had recruited 12,000 workers. He said it was impossible. What the government did during his last month was 2,000 workers in their teachers and skilled workers. Sorry, I'm trying to get the 2,000 workers, 1,500 teachers and 500 casual health workers that were recruited in Osun State, and only for the new administration in Osun to have started the trend then that it was 12,000 workers. So what exactly is even the size of Osun State civil service workers if you say that they recruited 12,000 workers? But you know, that was what was trending, and they were as surprised as everybody else. And they have challenged the present administration to prove it with a list, and you know, to prove the 12,000 workers allegation.
So I was going to take the major headline. The Minister of Power, Abubakar Ali, was speaking while giving President Buhari's scorecard on electricity. He was saying that the banks holding the majority stakes in 6 of the discos, that's, let me mention the states, Abuja, Kano, Kaduna, Benin, Ibadan, Port Harcourt, and discos, say that they must quickly find ways to divest this 60% interest they've gotten within the next 12 months. According to him, of the 11 discos, 6 weren't doing so well, so they had to hand them over to AMCON, and then they had about 60% of the ownership that's given to various parties. That's the BP, that's the Bureau of Public Enterprise. Central Bank of Nigeria also has a portion of that. So these are the agencies that are managing those 6 discos right now. The ones, 3 of the discos are doing very well. That's 2 of them in Lagos, Eko and Ikeja. And I think one other, I'm not sure the third one who is doing also well. And then the other ones have already gotten reconstruction back in this year, 2022. So they're hoping that they're going to begin to improve their services. The ones in Lagos, the 2, and I think in Jos, I believe. Looking for the other one, the third one that is doing very well. But the bottom line is that the remaining 6 that are not doing so well. These 3 agencies have been asked, therefore, to find investors. They sacked the past investors, and then sacked the management, and then they now handed over to these 3 agencies to manage until they're able to get new investors. Okay, another story in the nation.
I wanted to take the 14 people that died in a road accident in Kebbi State. They were coming from Kebbi State, and they were going to the truck hit a passenger, a stationary truck. It was a passenger truck, and it hit a stationary truck and killed all of them. This was in Sokoto State, and they have evacuated all of them, and they're treating the people. 40 people were injured, 14 people killed, and the cows.
Right. Before I move on, let me just say the 3rd disco was in Enugu. It's important for me to mention that because so the Enugu disco is doing well, and the ones in Lagos are doing well. So those are the 3.
Please don't take the story update on Unilorin female student Miss Olajide Gloria Blessing Omoumi, who was raped and murdered in her residence last year around the Tanke area in Ilorin. And the good news is the Kwara State High Court sitting in Ilorin yesterday has sentenced them to death. Has sentenced 2 of the 6 people that were arrested to death. Their names, the convicts, are Abdulaziz Ismail and Ajala Moses Oluwatimileyin, and these 2 people are going to be hanged. They've decided to be hanged. And can we just speed up all these people that were on death row so that we can, especially for those that are not on appeal, so that we can decongest the court, because these 2 deserves to get justice, especially because of what they did to the poor girl who was murdered.
All right, but let them exhaust the appeal.
Moving on quickly now to the Punch. 2023, INEC vows prosecution of voters' cards buyers and their sellers. Fake soldiers in court for terrorizing Lagos communities. Majestic Messi secures Argentina World Cup final spot. Senate postpones hearing on cash withdrawal limits. Mass rallies on local government autonomy to hold on Tuesday. My life in danger, ex-Ekiti Speaker petitions IG. Nigeria leads in yam production, exports none, says federal government. And reps direct NNPC to end petrol scarcity. Okay, which story are we starting in Punch?
Okay, should I start with the yam production?
Yes, please.
According to the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, Ernest Umahi, and he was represented at a stakeholders meeting workshop in Abuja by the Director of the Federal Department of Agriculture, Abdullah Abubakar, and his claim was that we must have sustainable food security for our population. As it is now, Nigeria is one of the leading, not the lead, but one of the leading producers of fresh yam products, but we cannot export any. And he says that so we must do something. The reason for that stakeholders workshop was to critically examine factors working against our being able to export quality production and our major commodities such as yam outside the country. But I think that he's saying one thing and he's losing focus. If we can at least feed our people with affordable yam, it is a win on its own. It is in continuous production like that when we are able to settle at home that we can take care of outside. What we are consistently producing is just about enough for local consumption. And bothering about export should not be our focus right now. When we have excess, we too will just delve into export. I think we should let us focus on being sustainable first.
He actually said Nigeria was the leading producer, but Ghana is the one that exports the most. And they expect
is our staple.
We do 94%, Ghana does 10% or something of production. But people cannot remember when
the last we tried that was left for a long time.
Tried to export yam.
Yes.
All the yam got spoiled on the high sea.
That was a one-off now.
And then but he didn't try again after that. And not only did the yam get spoiled, but then we could not find yam to buy here.
But the other time
because it's our staple here.
The other times they tried, probably didn't make the papers.
Even now we under this present minister,
export.
Yam is expensive. You won't believe it is something that is mostly produced here. One tuber.
Yeah.
So we should deal with local consumption first.
It's not our hot topic. Let's just
that one.
That's expensive. 2.5.
The fact is, a topic we need to even talk about. That yam thing is a totally different matter.
Seriously.
I was going to take the story because I took the story yesterday on the constitutional review. So there's a group, the national president of the Nigerian Union of Local Government Employees, Hakim Ambali, said that they are planning to meet with the president, Muhammadu Buhari, to discuss the possibility of a protest. They're planning to hold a rally concerning this local government autonomy that is yet to be passed by the state. If you recall, I said yesterday that they needed 2/3 from the state assemblies to approve the constitutional review. It was in March, I think it was about 29th of March this year, that the National Assembly had transmitted 44 constitutional alteration bills to the states. Of all this, I think only about 19 or so have gotten back. 21 states, the point says that 21 states had passed the amendment bills. They're waiting for the other states to also pass. A few states, Lagos, Ekiti, Benue State, and a few others are yet, in fact, they totally rejected the bills. Others are still yet to get back to the federal government. And this group is saying that they're going to have to rally and see what they can do to force these states to pass. Some of these amendments include state policing, local government autonomy, reviewing on education, a few other things that was mentioned. So it's an important conversation to have. I know this politics now, most people are not really governing. There's more political system, but this is a huge part of our democracy, if indeed we're going to have a functional democracy. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help welcome to the show, La General, the one and only Pere Egbe. Which of the following is false about teeth? We are born with 20 primary teeth. Teeth are the hardest substance in the body. Teeth are the strongest bones in the body.
Teeth is not a bone, actually.
Teeth can self-repair.
The strongest bone in the body, no. Teeth is not a bone.
Final answer?
Teeth is not a bone. You know what came to my head now? That sound. Crickets.
So, editor, you can put that cricket sound there. As you can still put it down too.
When was the first Gulda ultimate search? Editor?
Don't put any cricket sound. I'm talking. Okay, Pere. How many times has Ghana qualified for the World Cup?
5 times. Hey, you can't do that now.
That's what it is.
Wait. Calm down. Why are you like this?
This is your team.
Small play now.
They will not
Somebody cannot play with you again.
They will not be impressed though. The team that you're supporting and
Ghana will be alright.
Yeah, that's last.
Charlie? Cheers, Charlie.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women.
Staying with us. All right. So continue with Punch.
So the ex-speaker of Ekiti State has said that his life is in danger. He was sacked. I think that happened I would like to confirm, in November. He was removed from the office November 2022. And he has said that that was because of his loyalty, where his loyalty lies. He said it's had to go underground, that there were some strange men around his place. He has appealed to the Inspector General of Police to save himself and his family members from being eliminated because he decided to contest for the speakership of Ekiti State elections, and he has had to take his family away from their house. He said some days before the election, some powerful forces outside the government of Ekiti State had been coercing members of the Ekiti Assembly to support someone else. So I was trying to get what the police is saying concerning this, and they didn't carry that story here. But if somebody is making such claims about his life, we don't want it to be after something bad happens before we now say, oh, but he said so. Right. So please.
Okay, moving on quickly now to Daily Sun. Atiku, Tinubu outdo each other on security and economic plans. Your sit-at-home order will continue to flop. IPOB mocks ECPA. Enugu Assembly decries worsening insecurity, mandates Ugwanyi to deal with situation. PDP mocks APC over candidates Chatham House outing. I don't have political axe to grind with Atiku, says Wike. Customs raised the alarm over use of government number plates for smuggling of vehicles. NNPC earmarks 1.6 trillion naira to fix roads under tax credit scheme. And CBN BPE banks now run discos to discontinue 150 billion naira electricity subsidy. Okay. Which story are we starting with?
So following the presidential order executive order that was signed by the president in 2019 on infrastructure titled Executive Order 007. NNPC has continued to fill the gap, and they said that, they would fill the infrastructure gap with a 1.6 trillion naira rehabilitation under the federal government tax credit scheme. So they are looking at new roads. They said that out of the 195,000 kilometer road networks around, only 60,000 out of it is paved already. So NNPC will be, of course, doing PPPs and other initiatives to help cover this deficit that we have. So I'm looking.
Okay, I was going to take the story concerning the customs. So the customs area controller in charge of the Niger Kogi area, Mr. Busayo Kadejo, has expressed deep concern over the increasing use of government plates by suspected smugglers, number plates, by suspected smugglers, and even second-hand vehicles and smuggling second-hand vehicles into the country. He said that they displayed about 15 vehicles that have the FIRS, that's the Federal Inland Revenue Service, plate numbers. No fewer than about 5 suspects were already arrested in this regard. He also said about 57 exotic cars were also detained because they were carrying the presidency number plates. Now that's a cause for concern, because I think it's quite worrisome, because I know it's part of our culture where we seclude a group of people, either the presidency or government car and those kind of things. The police don't check those cars. I think we need to really review these things, and how do we curb this frequent issuing out of these special plate numbers to just anybody. It's quite.
Those numbers are even issued.
Legitimate.
Yes.
Of the years.
How did they? You see, the number plates, they fit a certain specification. So you will recognize a legitimate number plate if you see it. So they are probably legitimate, but they've gotten them through illegal means. So once you have that kind of number, if it's fake, you will know it now. Even if you're an ordinary person like us.
But don't you think there's some privileges that when we have a proper state, we can start? But right now we're trying to fix our country. Maybe we should stop all these privileges. All these nice privileges should be suspended for some time until we get people who are actually willing to obey the laws.
The other day I was in serious traffic, and a police car just comes on the wrong side of the road and
went off.
Beats the traffic.
They are above the law.
They are above the law. So no, it has to start. This is just there are many.
Let me take a few other sound.
Yes, please. I want to take a very important story. So, Enugu State Assembly has decried the worsening state of insecurity, especially as we are in the Yuletide season. So, the leadership of the Enugu State House of Assembly has called the governor, Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, has said that there's been major insecurity challenges along the Oji River State constituency area. And Chief Jeff Mba was the one that raised the motion to the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, said that just a few weeks back, the former Commissioner of Rural Development Enugu State, Uzogab Uzulike, in that Oji Rivers area was gruesomely murdered alongside his brother, and there have been several attacks within that area, and the fear of insecurity will deter many people from coming home this Christmas and New Year, even to engage in other social activities without being molested by hoodlums or being even murdered. So his appeal is let the state work with the police officers, joint military and forest guard and neighborhood watch to tackle the menace quickly. That's for Enugu State. I'm sure many other states have the same story.
Vanguard, petrol NNPC slashes price for marketers to ease scarcity. IPOB distance itself blames federal government concerning the attacks on the INEC offices. Hitch's low turnout mark collection of PVCs. Tinubu vows to eliminate kidnappers and killers. Other than IU must go, no personal issues with Wike. NIPOST, cartel colluded to embezzle stamp duty funds, says presidency. NDDC, Senate begins screening of Onoche and 14 others. Okay, who has an NPC, please? Because this doesn't sound realistic at all.
Well, NNPC, in trying to clear what is on ground now, I've been having series of meetings with Ipman, Dapman, and all of the mans manning our petroleum industry, and they said they're adopting a new measure to guarantee adequate supply across the country by fixing, and they're still staying on their 148 per litre. They're looking to, sort of meet marketers halfway by slashing from the private depots also what they'll be giving. But in this report, marketers are lamenting that they buy at 200 naira per litre from private depots. So it's impossible for them to meet DSS 48 hours directive of slash. It's not going to happen. That at that 200 naira per litre, they can't even sell at 170. So, they will get to their filling station and have to do that. But NNPC insists that, the House of Reps have called them to mediate on the matter, and they are looking at further slashing. The only fear that I have on NNPC's further slash is that we don't want to be paying subsidy inside subsidy. How do you plan to slash? If the cost of landing is a particular cost and you're already paying subsidy on that landing, what exactly do you want to further do to marketers to assist them to get products? Let's not be paying for that subsidy. If it is that, let's open the market.
Okay.
Anyway, Moya's favorite governor.
After Governor Sanwo-Olu, please. We say it. Governor Wike, baby. It's number two.
Well, I know him as your favorite. When I say favorite, then you can say your favorite Governor Wike. I said that he doesn't have any personal issue with Atiku, except that Ayu must go. That he doesn't regret running for presidency. That as far as he's concerned, if they hadn't done some magic, he would have been. The seat, but that he knows why he is saying that
he's insisting on that.
On some argue that they can't have northern president and
then northern chairman.
Northern chairman.
Okay, now so
also about that
they do
a report.
I waited for you to take that story because it's your axis.
Yes,
you understand it very
complete,
well.
Analysis of the expressway traffic that is going on, and they did interviews with road users, including they did not interview Misha, but from second rainbow.
Are you offering yourself for interview?
Of course, I can sit with them on this. I drive them, so we've been suffering that hardship because the road has to be constructed from Coconut to Sele. The reconstruction, that's the rebuilding of the road, and the only service lane that is free is where tanker drivers have joined us to cure the way into Apapa, and that is causing serious hardship. I love that Vanguard is on the story, but I drove through there on Monday, and it was amazing to see that the tankers had left. As when you get to second rainbow, you don't have to proceed into the worst part of Apapa.
They don't have fuel.
And I got a message this morning from the Lagos Express that they've removed and
they removed. I saw the video. Jamola Kuti sends the videos. So you now have to just, for those of us going to Amodofin, you can actually exit into Amodofin freely now. I hope it continues. I'll have to pass.
Let's drive safely as much as you can, because generally they'll lock you back up.
Because look at
it's going to break. That's all we can take on Paper Review today. When we come back, what's our hot topic of the day? Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Not just where, but who wouldn't you want to work with?
Yes, that's on that angle.
So Laifa had a very, very interesting.
You wouldn't want to work with who?
Not There's no judgment.
No, and I respect,
they'll judge you definitely,
I respect
but we won't
this
judge
certain
you.
type of people. But what I dislike so much is when they tend to come to work and then they pour all their
resentment from
on you. Is it me that offended you? I'm not the one. I have no business. Man, just come and work with you, pay me at the end of the month, and let me go back to my house in peace and sleep. But when it comes to like divorced people, I cannot work with a divorcee. I can't see myself doing that. If I find out, if you can hide it or not, but if I find out,
When they are nice divorcees.
I would just.
What if they are nice?
Okay, now it depends. If you are nice, cool. But if you are the type that you don't know how to keep your anger to yourself, you always pour it on somebody. Well, I'll not drop my resignation letter, no matter the amount you're paying me.
So it's more passive aggressive people.
Yeah, I can't do it. I'm so sorry.
Oh, definitely.
And I cannot work with stingy people.
See this one.
Because you cannot be passing me in the morning, afternoon. I can say, oh, yeah, I'm working. Oh, yeah, take 100 naira,
If
take
you're
10K,
sugar
take
daddy,
15K. You don't have to be my sugar daddy or sugar mommy. See, the way you treat others is the way they will treat you outside. And if you cannot treat your workers well, they are not a good boss. If you cannot be dashing me small thing or giving me donuts when I'm working, you are not a good boss.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome University of Texas graduate, lasting a total of 9 weeks in the Big Brother house, actor and CEO of Alpha Records, Alpha Apparel and Feno Cuisine, the one and only Tokpe Adenibunyo, aka Teddy A.
Mado.
Now my question, Teddy A. The first letter of the Greek alphabet is Alpha.
This man.
You think I'm about to ask you the last one?
No, I don't need. Let me start drinking.
The 16th letter is Pi.
Pie.
You didn't know that. What is the third Greek alphabet called?
Better. Better.
Final answer?
Yeah.
You're wrong. Alpha, beta.
You're wrong. Wow.
Yes. Drink. Oh, we have a tie.
How do we have a tie now?
That's so good to know.
How do we have a tie? You missed one.
I drank.
How come?
Thanks for staying with us. So it's the Yuletide season and we cannot but notice the increase in food prices across board. Earlier during the show, I think we were talking about the cost of yam. Many of us are buying a tuber of yam, 2,500, at least for my own area. I can only imagine what people in certain areas are paying for one tuber of yam. The prices of bread, my kids eat bread a lot, has totally increased. Eggs, one crate is even a whole new other ballgame. 2,200 naira is what I bought last time. So
I bought you.
how is it in your own neighborhood? Maybe our leaders don't buy, they don't go shopping, so they have no idea that food prices have increased. Maybe they have a butler who is going to buy everything for them, so they have no idea. So sometimes it's good for us to mention this on our show, so they understand the impact of their policies, the impact of the lack of policies or even infrastructure. Those things that they do or refuse to do, how it affects us as a people. Please join the conversation. You can call us on 081-270-53687, 09139076948. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweet. I would like to hear the prices of food in the east, in the north, in the north central, in in the west, in the south, all across the country. Call the numbers on your screen. Let us hear from you, understand what you're experiencing, how it's been in the last few weeks. Let me start with you, Tokwe. What is the experience been like?
So, I'll put it this way. I feel that there's nobody that is immune to the costs, the inflation now. Like nobody needs definition of what inflation means anymore. Nobody needs definition of high food prices anymore, because we are feeling it every day. Now, I don't even do grocery shopping personally. I have someone who shops for me, and if not for God, I'll feel like I was being scammed because I do fruits every day. When I buy fruits of 20,000 naira, it will last me almost the entire month. Right now, 25,000 naira fruits is just 2 weeks, and I'm buying from the fruit depot. I'm buying it from Mile 12 and K2 fruit market. So I'm wondering how people will be able to. My children love oranges. Or work on 2 days that's finished. So like I'm now telling my children that just drink 2 alone. I'm reducing the ration of children that need fruits, not to drink fruits too much because of the cost of the fruits. And
okay, I used to buy a bag of apples.
I know it's an apple.
I don't buy
Which apple? The apple.
The regular apples now. Regular apples. I bought a bag, and then within 2 days, because they keep going back, I had to call the big guys. Each one is about 200 naira. No more. You take one, I tell my help, and I have to ask her to cut it into pieces for them, because we can't be having one. You can't eat a whole apple again. I'm sorry. You have to share. That's what it is now. You can't even buy fruits.
So here is the sad part for me is the truth is, in the past 2 years, I have worked so hard. My income has increased, but my quality of life hasn't increased as it should, even though I'm earning more. Now, how much more those that their salary has not increased in any way? How are they coping? For many organizations, the past 2 years, there's been no change. Actually, most organizations, there's been no change in salary for 2 years. So how are they coping? If I didn't have other sources of income, we would be left begging. So sometimes it's a case of our leaders need to understand, and I really don't want to shout, so that sometimes when we shout, our leaders will feel like, we're making noise at them and we are being rude. I'm trying to keep my voice down so that they will get the meat of the message. The basic salary of people cannot afford them to eat good meals anymore based on the cost of living.
Let me come to you, Nima. What has been your experience so far in this cost of?
So I hate to share this one. So yesterday I was bagging rice for a client who had ordered 25 kg bags. And one woman just came into my shop. She was carrying a big child, and she was almost on her knees. What does she do? She was obviously begging, and I said, I don't have money to give you. So what do? Which business do you run? How does somebody assist somebody like you? Because begging is not a good way of living. It's not a good form of employment. And she said, I sell fufu and I save, but I couldn't save enough for my house rent. And at the point of being kicked out, at the risk of being kicked out, I had to add whatever was left of the food money. Ask me how much is a basket, because I know how fufu is made. I said, so how do you buy cassava now? So for one pack that she has to make of fufu, it's just 6,000. 6,000 is why that woman was walking around and begging. I hate to share, but that's the reality of majority of people. I sell food, so I see how Nigerians sort of queue and wait. I know people are already asking me, Madam, how we go to December now? What I have in my shop is investment. I cannot be dashing it out. But people are waiting and hoping she will dash it out so we can come and take it. And that's the reality around everywhere. Some people don't even want to be in that place. They're struggling. They will owe you for months on end, but they want to. So we cannot continue to sit at policy tables and let our people lose their dignity to life. This thing that forces somebody to come out and ask their neighbor, can I get from you? It's the most painful thing ever anybody can be in. And when you issue out monetary policies, you issue out bans, you issue everything you're doing, can you kindly look at how it trickles down so that you don't force a head of the house to start governing walls?
You see, Nima, that's an important point you make, because sometimes we make policies and forget that these are human beings we're making policies over. And even though it might be painful for citizens to go through it, If you're a leader, a proper leader would come out and say, listen, I understand this is what you're going through. Explain what you're saying now. If I have a leader telling me, okay, I know yam was 1,000 naira. Right now it has to be 2,500, and these are the reasons. Kindly understand that for this period, this will happen. But when we put this in place, in the next few months, it will go back to give us a plan, so that when Nigerians see that, they can begin to understand. But when they don't hear anybody, they see this. It's almost as though we're in a different place.
Nothing in Nigeria has ever gone up and come down. So it has not happened in this my lifetime like this. As I'm 62 almost.
Really,
I have not seen, even when it goes down, it's that reverse to come back and give you support. Because by the time it now goes back up again, your head will reel. So let them tell us, we will find a way to increase your earning power. They can't be telling us we are going to you and nothing will happen to you. No, don't do that. That's what they're doing. I got this. I wanted to read because since Nima was reading this about her, this Your View fan. Let me read her message to you. She says, "Please, I'm hungry." She's hungry. Please come to my aid. Sales have been done. I am not feeling like I used to. Please rescue me at this moment. This is the average Nigerian, how they are feeling. How are we going to, how are our leaders
to help to increase our movement here? So, I mean, this is such a, sometimes when we talk
6,000.
When we talk about prices of food, I mean, the other day, I mean, it's not just food, everything.
Everything has increased. You see, food, you must take care of food.
Yes, food is basic.
Food. I remember my parents, they would tell, when we were growing up, they would say, once I buy food in the house, forget every other thing. So whenever my father got his pension, then they go shopping together. They used to go to Lusada in Agbara, so that they would buy more food cheaper. I grew up buying in bulk. So they take care. Food is basic, and you must think of that. Every policy that they are making in this country, in fact, they should not think of how it will later trickle down. They must make it trickle all the way up. They must start from the most basic, from the lowest of society. So this humanitarian aid that they are giving out, lowest, poorest communities, and I'm not criticizing. I'm saying, how did you think it will trickle up? Rice. And it must go up. Rice has consistently gone up. As a commodity in this country. Consistently. We can't afford to buy it. I'm selling
bread. Bread. I used to buy 3 loaves because my house would be 3 loaves at least every 2 days or 3 days. Now the same amount I used to buy 3 loaves, I can only buy 2 loaves. It is unbelievable.
They're comparing it within a year. I'm saying compare from last year to this year.
No, so imagine that the subsidy.
Compare from last month.
So imagine that the subsidies and the policies were targeting whatever would make that price come down and stabilize it.
Oh, she's saying that price.
So that manufacturers are purchasing power. We're saying from government. She was countering the issue of, it will later come down. We're saying from government. Pure water now, they say that 300 naira per bag. Has government ever bothered to ask, why is cost of production that high? Let's see what we will do so that at least producers will not be shouting. As we speak now in the area that I am living, the people that are selling pure water cannot sell it any other way. Because they are running generators.
Nigerians also, we also just use the Nigerian people too.
We know the Nigerian people.
But we all factors. And then
so let me break it down this way. Why is
let me break after the break. Let me go on a break. I'll come back. I'll take that analysis. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Ask questions if I want to ask questions, and if it's something that I saw coming, I may not even ask questions. I may just. I may even tell you I saw this.
What if it's in person? But then, would it make a difference where? So, like, this person might just say, you people can just be on 3rd Milan Bridge on a bike. And the person say, babe, I cannot do it again. And you lose range. So, what would change the scenario? Like,
Does it matter where? Do you want to have like a fancy dinner, like the film you were meant to be
like finally I'll be right.
Or do you want to be on the street?
No, carry me go fancy dinner.
Or you might just una dey run for treadmill.
Or you not a joke.
You tell you lose for your web.
Now I don't turn attempted murder.
So which would it be? Because I'm like, in person, you have the closure that you want and the few injuries.
Guys, that's one place. It could be inside the car. You can sit inside the car.
Why car? Why not bike?
Who will be driving?
Why bike?
Who will be driving at this
point? The car will
point?
be stationary.
Pray I'm not the one driving.
The car will be
Pray.
stationary.
Because I'll go master. You can't be telling me like me. I'm going to drive near water.
All
You must consider.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome the one who can make time stand still forever, Mr. Kelechi Amadi. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, my brother.
You love that intro, Abi?
It was great.
Okay.
Thank you.
We
Thank
try
you.
like that.
Thank you.
Now my question, which I feel is a cheap question.
Oh, go ahead.
What does ISO stand for?
That is it. I think I'll drink.
No, you're joking.
I'm not joking.
Kelechi Amadi. No. Shay, you didn't whine me. You're whining me now.
I think I'll drink. Huh? No problem.
Okay.
I've always known this as ISO. I never bothered to know what it means. I know what it means, but I never bothered to know what the acronym is. Tell me the brand of camera that I use, so much so that I even became an ambassador. That's very easy. It's out there.
It's supposed to be, yeah.
I just said, look, I give you this one as a token of my appreciation.
Sony.
Drink!
I'm not done. You did not say final answer.
Final answer.
You did not ask me if that was my final answer.
You don't have any choice again. It's only
Nikon.
how many cameras do they have? My
Nikon.
friend to drink. I gave you a very easy something.
Nikon now.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing the cost of items, food items, commodities across the country. You can call us on the numbers on your screen. We'd really like to hear from you. I mean, I was saying the other day, my washman, usually I've been paying him for years. He's been with me for many years, about 15 years now. And when he comes, I pay him per not wash, because the washing machine, per ironing. He only comes to iron. He told me, say, Auntie, you cannot give me my washing money is different from my transport money. He now told me how much that it cost me 2,000 naira to get here. I said, now. He was now telling me what he was taking, the bike he was taking from where he's coming from. So now, what I pay him in addition to that, I now to add 2,000 naira extra because of transportation. He said he can't accept it anymore. If not, he has to find somebody else. He was actually begging me. But the point is that prices have increased, not just in food, all things. So, and it's quite sad.
So the food is being transported from where they are producing it from to where it's going to be consumed, and we all know that that's diesel. So when that diesel price went from 300 to 800, where did we think it was going to, how the impact of it? I think that our government did not realize how people will feel it, and I'm so happy we're talking about it right now, because right now the only thing on the minds of most of our politicians is how to win the next election, but not how to empathize with the conditions of the people you are leading. You are leading people who cannot afford to eat well anymore. People who cannot afford to eat meat. I was buying chicken and I'm looking at people in my house eating chicken and my heart is, and I don't do that before. Like, I don't even look at things. I don't look at how many things are in the fridge. I just feel like, when you finish, we'll buy another one. But now I'm having to look, and it's so uncomfortable. But that's the reality.
One of my friends, they shared ram meat, 40,000. 2 weeks, it's done. 2 weeks.
That's even those that can afford it. As people cannot buy fish, they can't buy meat, and they are living in this same Lagos. Then
I have to call a meeting in my house and say, listen, let us discuss this meat matter. We only pick the days. So the plan is on Wednesday we cook meat. Sunday is chicken. Every other day you throw in all this your panla fish and everything. The
last panla we did was 24,000 per.
About 27,000.
Thank you.
Yes, it's not expensive.
That's not the cost of smoking it. As it will humble you, the cost of food will just my own kids like to even waste it. I don't like the taste. Don't so doesn't look fine. I say, well, children, have meeting, sit down. I'll carry my spoon and start feeding.
So what kind of let me take the call. Hawa from Jigawa, you're live.
Okay, good morning everyone.
Morning.
I just want to add more on this issue of prices of goods in the north. Here in Kano, Jigawa, the prices have not only doubled but tripled. We go to outside village markets to buy foodstuffs. One person will bring a trailer and buy almost the whole market. There was a time I asked why. We Hausa people, sometimes most of the businessmen up to today, they don't keep money in the bank. They keep money at home. And with this policy of change of money, it will affect those who keep money at home. So the only alternative to them is to buy foodstuff and keep until when this issue of money is gone. That is when they will be able to retrieve their money. But we are suffering the impact. When you go to market, Morayo and Co., the price is too much. The local rice we produce here in the north, we buy a tier at 1,500, 1,600. I don't know if it is the same measurement with you people. Gari, a tier is 1,003. Are you getting me?
Yeah, it's 1,700.
Well, how can the poor man survive?
Right.
That is my question. How can the poor man, even though I was talking?
Thank you, Hawa. We really wanted to hear that's another perspective. Yeah.
From Jigawa.
Yeah, so it's like it's cheaper. It's like it's far cheaper there. So, Auntie Annie, one of the biggest, I have a lot of people in my community now that are doing agriculture with their business, and what they complain about is clearing your land has increased in price. Your planting process is still the same affordable rate, but there is no proper risk. Like there's no measurement for risk. We've seen in other countries where to keep the price of food down, the government provides funds to say that there is for every registered farmer, this is the price you will sell, this is the product you need to plant. We know we need yam, plenty. We need potatoes, plenty. these things grow even in Lagos.
That's what I truly was telling us the other day. So after I give you the farmer the money, you now rather sell to Benin Republic than your people, because that's what you're saying. It was not patriotic.
The government has to have,
there's no regulation.
They're not obeying the regulation. They're not obeying it.
No. If you sign agreement, if you sign agreement with the farmer,
what are you talking about?
I understand the fact that we feel that the government will not work.
Yes.
I mean, that the human beings will try and counter the government. That's because we've seen loopholes. It's about sincerity. It starts with government. It starts with the fact that governments are willing to ensure that food prices come down. We have enough land. Ibejuleke, I mean, to real estate, Ibejuleke still has enough land that we can use to plant. We are not planting on half of the... Lagos still has land that you can plant on. So we will do policy. I mentioned, I think, maybe we're on break. I said I drove through from Ijebu into Ekpe last week, Monday. We drove through a rice farm. The rice farm was over 50,000 hectares of land. And that rice farm was done in partnership with government. They put all the structure in place and the policy ended. We would have been making rice from that place. So,
I just want to say something. You see, when government puts in a policy, and you do not enforce that policy and follow through, nothing will happen. That's all. Nothing will happen. If I say I ban Okada, and tomorrow Okada and nobody is there arresting the Okadas, they arrest nothing. So listen. I'm not even blaming. I'm not saying government is corrupt. I'm just saying government does not enforce these things. If they sat down. Look, I will just give you, this one has something to do with road. Ogun State government, they have done our one side of our road. Okay. Now, today I'm coming. That side of the road, everybody has left the bad side to be going on the good side.
That's the point.
And nobody is there to arrest them or send them back.
Will it be logical to arrest them? You cannot create a hardship. If you do one side of the road...
Those of us that are complying with the law now.
How is it on your car?
That's not... I'm still these are two different perspectives. Let me take this call from London. Lola from London. Good morning, you're live.
Yeah,
Ola, go ahead, please.
All right. Yeah, good morning. Yeah, well, I will contribute to this. You know, in Nigeria, the Nigerian government, they need to do a lot. Are you listening to me, please?
Very clearly.
All right. You know, where we are here, everything is the same thing. Full stop, going up. But what the government are doing, they put in a little more money to every family. But in the gas, the electricity, they are very expensive as well. You know what government do? They put £66 every month from 10 months ago till April next year. If you are not working, there's a benefit for you. Exactly. Nigerian government pays 30,000 for a minimum wages.
Thank you, Ola. So for those who are getting benefits from government, obviously government is taking taxes somewhere. Here, how many of us are paying taxes? That's a different conversation. But that's you. We're talking about 200 million. Of the 200 million, they'll give you the data of how many Nigerians are actually paying tax. That's one thing.
This is the enforcement we are talking about now.
It's part of the enforcement. I agree with you. We're all saying the same thing. For example, I'll come to you, Nima. I'll let you talk. Something as basic as you want to get new passports. How many of you go to the website? Nigerians. Don't you call, I know what my uncle, I my brother, I want to somewhere, that is the Controller General, I will call you to help you to give you access. It's all Nigerians. It's the truth.
When you go to the website, 6 months, you're on the queue.
That's the problem.
You call somebody, so at least they will move it to 3 months for you.
That's the problem. So the policy was saying, for example, rice farmers come and collect money. They won't want to go through that. They rather sell to Benin Republic because the same thing. If how much would they pay me back my money? So if you don't, I'm not defending government. I'm just saying that we must always see that there are two sides of every coin.
See, quite have all these two sides. But this issue that you see enforcement. Enforcement must not only be done, it must also be justiciable.
Yes. Justifiable.
Justifiable. If you put two-lane road, and then you fix one side of the road, and the other one is bad, and you compel people to conform with traffic by passing that road, it will not. How
would they fix the other side if they don't let people move to the other side?
No, don't magic now. You cordon off the side you're walking on.
Yes.
The one that has not been fixed. And you open up the one that you have done. And that's what they did. Even when the Okada was banned, did you hear anybody ban Okada on Badagry Expressway? We're a construction site. We're constantly in traffic. They say, okay, Okada cannot come to the express. Okadas have been, in fact, I use Okada personally.
Oh,
1,000 naira from my house to Agboju to go.
I see them here, up and down, up and down.
I sit in that traffic.
On the wrong side of the road.
What we are saying is that there are two sides. Number one, governments have policies, but they are not enforcing the policies. The people too do sometimes
they are not practically enforcing the policies.
They are not enforceable.
Practically, is that when you ban Okadas, there's a road that cars can pass.
Excuse me. You know, I'm not a fan. Every time I say this thing, I must add that I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of our president. But I will tell you, when he was president in 1984, he said, queuing. He had this slogan, war against indiscipline. And you must queue. Come and see. Soldiers on the road, making you queue. They not born you. They not born your papa, not to queue. You listen.
Population then is different from now. Nigeria. Soldier wants to tell you to keep saying you listen to the soldier. Think about Nigeria. What are you talking about?
Let me give you another example. Let me give you an outside Nigeria. The police in Benin Republic and Togo and all those places, they don't carry gun. They don't carry gun. They only carry whistle. Let police stop you, and you don't stop. No, they're not born you. Not to stop. You go see all the cars. They don't have feel. Don't park. You must park. And the police don't carry gun. Here, police will carry gun, carry machete, carry listen.
And the same citizens will not listen to them.
No. It is respecting yourself and leadership by example.
Exactly.
You cannot be hypocritical. You are telling me to eat local rice, you are buying foreign rice. You are telling me to use Nigerian hospital, you are traveling out for healthcare. As long as you are hypocritical, if you tell me to stay in traffic, you better enter that traffic. If you want me to suffer that traffic, you enter. Exactly. As long as our government is not willing to bear the pain that we are feeling, Nigerians will always find ways to circumvent the law.
Now you're making it some way. Leadership. No, land they don't spoil it. It's leadership. You put a policy in place and you expect us to follow it, but you.
So that is the problem.
Military that is holding gun that wants to stop traffic use the same military gun to blow it one way from Ojo Barracks. I will try the military man to join.
I didn't just tell you about the one inside go slow, then the police car that was not going anywhere. Just came on over.
Okay. Thank you, market women. Thank you very much.
Remember when Fashola was governor? Wait, I must say this one. When Fashola was governor, Fashola said no sirens. And what did he do? He did not use any siren. He entered the go slow. So everybody just obeyed him. They don't want the policeman to start siren. Fashola will stop and arrest him by himself.
Military, now.
Okay, can we wrap up now?
No, we can't wrap up. We are still annoyed.
No, okay. I have to wrap up. Unfortunately, we have to discuss another topic. I have to wrap up on this.
When are we discussing again? When this thing is spending us inside our blood.
That is all I can say.
Our blood is boiling.
You have made your point, which is a valid point, because we need leaders to lead by example. Because yes, the policies are there, but Nigerians will circumvent.
No, the leaders are circumventing.
Also, sorry,
the leaders lead in circumventing.
Oh, that is why they say teacher don't teach me nonsense.
On that note, we got to wrap up on this. Thank you very much, ladies. Okay, thank God you're not coming tomorrow. Go on a break and come back because our next topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
The Central Bank. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome showstopper, voice, stage, and film actor, CEO and celebrity mom, Oluwabamike Olawumi Adenibunyo, aka Two Shots in the Air, Bam Bam!
This is mean. I feel set up today. My guards are down. It's not fair. Guys, beg for me now. I'm hearing them saying, please.
No,
please. Can't you hear it?
No, they are saying you should actually drink.
When you watch this show, more history me. Drink it now. You must even up the game. Mama chased. Oh man, me. No.
Not just where, but who wouldn't you want to work with?
Yes, that's on that angle.
So Laifa had a very, very interesting.
You wouldn't want to work with who?
There's no judgment.
No, and I
they'll
respect,
judge you
I
definitely,
respect
but we won't
this
judge
certain
you.
type of people. But what I dislike so much is when they tend to come to work and then they pour all their
resentment from
on
home.
you. Is it me that offended you? I'm not the one. I have no business. Mom just come and work with you, pay me at the end of the month, and let me go back to my house in peace and sleep. But when it comes to like divorced people, I cannot work with a divorcee. I can't see myself doing that. If I find out, if you can hide it or not, but if I find out,
When they are nice divorcees.
I would just
What
be.
if they are nice?
Okay, now it depends. If you are nice, cool. But if you are the type that you don't know how to keep your anger to yourself, you always pour it on somebody. Well, I'll just drop my resignation letter. No matter the amount you're paying me.
So it's more passive aggressive people.
Yeah, I can't do it. I'm so sorry.
Oh, definitely.
And I cannot work with stingy people.
See this one.
Because you cannot be passing me in the morning, afternoon. I can say, oh, hi, yeah, I'm working. Oh, yeah, take 100 naira,
If
take
you're
10K,
your sugar
take
daddy
15K. You don't have to be my sugar daddy or sugar mommy. See, the way you treat others is the way they will treat you outside. And if you cannot treat your workers well, they are not a good boss. If you cannot be dashing me small thing or giving me donuts when I'm working, you are not a good boss.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome pioneer Positive Force member, dancing queen of the 80s, non-conformist, Afrobeat historian in her right, and long-standing member of the multiple award-winning all-female show Your View, Omoyeni, Yeni, Anikulapo Kuti, aka YK Power! Ginger!
Take it.
Today we'll go here.
Hey, I don't read you.
Are you sure?
Ha. I'm not here to answer questions. I'm here to drink.
We're in trouble today.
Wait till your age.
I was close now.
I
said 1975.
He said 73. He said 75. Fellas wasn't even born till 75.
So will I drink half?
You go drink. Take. Make I help you. Rush on.
No be half.
Which half? You will make me drink. I'll give you a hint.
Lights in no. Nepa Road. Nepa Road in Abeokuta.
First of all, my brain cannot memorize everything.
A big black bug.
A big black dog.
Bug. A big black bug.
Oh, sorry. A big.
It don't start.
Ọmọ fẹlá. Ọmọ Anikulapo Kuti. Wọ́n rò pé kí ni kékeré yìí.
It's by audition. It's not by audition.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome the one who can make time stand still forever, Mr. Kelechi Amadi. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, my brother.
You love that intro, have you?
Yeah. It was great.
Okay.
Thank you.
We try like that.
Thank you.
Now my question, which I feel is a cheap question.
Oh, go ahead.
What does ISO stand for?
That is it. I think I'll drink.
No, you're joking.
I'm not joking.
Kelechi Amadi. No. Shay, you didn't whine me. You're whining me now.
I think I'll drink. Huh? No problem.
Okay.
I've always known this as ISO. I never bothered to know what it means. I know what it means, but I never bothered to know what.
Thanks for staying with us. So somebody was giving me a message for YK. It says that in Benin Republic and other French countries, the burden of proof is on the offender. Once you are arrested, you are guilty. So you have to prove yourself. In Nigeria, you are innocent to proving guilty, like other English-speaking countries. So that's why you run away. You don't get arrested, because once you get arrested, you are already guilty, according to the Benin Republic. But we have to move on. Thanks for staying with us now. I'm giving you a message. You can't answer because it's a message from a different person. Anyways, right now we're going to be having with us on the show Honorable Benjamin Kalu. He's a spokesman, House of Representatives, discussing the issue, the fact that the reps had sent a message to the NNPCL that they must stop and give them a 7-day ultimatum to stop these fuel scarcity we are having in the country. So we are going to speak to one of the members of the reps to see where that came from. Good morning, sir. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Good to have you on the show. So we've heard different versions on why this scarcity persists from the NNPCL, from IPMA, from different regards. Now, the National Assembly has given them a 7-day ultimatum. Let me ask you first, what are you hearing? What do you think exactly is the cause? And why do you think 7 days is enough to fix it? Hello, sir?
Hello.
Yes, did you get the question?
Your line is breaking. I think I heard you say something about the 7 days.
Ultimatum.
I would think the 7 days is enough.
Yes.
And what is the cause of the scarcity?
Yes.
Yeah. First of all, thank you, Nigerians, for tuning in, and thank you for having me. As a parliament, we were set up as an arm of government to make sure that we check the excesses of various arms of government, and in doing that, protect the interests of the citizens of this country, ensuring that at all times that the interests of Nigerians were protected. In this artificial petroleum product scarcity and the way it has lingered for quite some time, we do not think that the interests of Nigerians are to be protected. And the onus lies on us as the People's Parliament to take legislative steps towards resolving that. And that was what we did yesterday through the voice of our Honorable Member Saidu Abdullahi from Niger State, who titled his motion urgent need for the government to end the current fuel scarcity. Since the private sector could not handle it, since the marketers union association have not been able to handle it, since all we have had has been excuses from one agency to the other, you may recall that one of the excuses given was Nigerian midstream and downstream petroleum regulatory authority claiming that at the peak of the rainy season, that the issue was the rainfall that submerged Lokoja corridor, including the highways. And they said this was what restricted vehicular movement around that corridor.
Really?
Post-flood and the rain, another excuse came justifying the scarcity by the same, by President of Petrol Marketers Association, IPMAN, who claimed that it was a supply gap. So it was no longer the rain, it was a supply gap now created by a blockage at the same Lokoja. And there is one thing that the President of IPMAN did, which was justifying, and clearing the government when he stated that there was availability of products in the various depots. So which means government played their part to make sure that we had available products in all the depots. So what then is the issue about the lingering scarcity? According to him, he said, break in supply of products. So the first one is flood. The second one is supply gap. The third one is break in supply. So whether you call it break in supply, whether you call it supply gap, whether you blame it on flood, the issue remains that Nigerians are suffering from the...
But Honorable, I need to ask a follow-up to that, because what we are hearing, that the real factor is the costs. And that's what's causing the distribution delay we are getting, because the federal government is insisting on the 165 or 168 to the liter, and they're saying that they can't afford at that price. It has to be at least 200 and something, I think 260 or 230. They have to sell. They have to pay. That's what that's the issue we're having. That's the news we have here. So the factors you just called out, in fact, it's foreign to me. I'm hearing that for the first time. But if it's a cost issue, how do you expect that 7 days we'll be able to reverse this?
And apart from that, if they don't comply in 7 days, what's the punishment? You are just issuing the 7 days and there's no
Consequence.
No consequence.
Well, let me go back to what I was saying before the interjection. We have security agencies in this country, and their job is to make sure that they supply us intelligence reports. If you may recall, recently the intelligence report was that there was available product and that they were given 48 days to end this scarcity. And if you check the whole petrol station, there was an improvement after that ultimatum was given by DSS. So the issue is not just the price.
Hello?
And I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Yeah, increasing from 179 to 300. Occasions the consequences is much on Nigeria, and we cannot sit back and say after spending trillions on subsidy, we just sit down and say no, we have not spent enough, and based on that they can increase prices, even if it is affecting the economic situation in Nigeria. So we have done what we are supposed to do to give them ultimatum as those allowed by the Constitution in checking inefficiency of government agencies in the exercise of their duties. And if they fail to do that, like you asked, what will happen? We will now call them in. We will now take our oversight to the next level, because we believe in the intelligence report that has been supplied by the Department of Secret Service. We believe in that. And we will work with that to make sure that those who are supposed to control this, they are exposed and the right punishment measured, given out to them. So it's not like a call out that will just die down once we finish calling out and nothing happens. Nigerians should watch and see what happens in 7 days if this is not reversed. Right. The House is feeling the impact that this is having on our economy. The prices of consumer goods is increasing because of this petroleum product, because there is hardly a consumer product that does not rely on the petroleum product for its supply to take place. In the supply chain, you need the petroleum product.
Right.
So we cannot allow this to keep lingering. There are people in charge, and we are going to call them in if in 7 days this does not reverse.
All right.
Honorable sir, this morning, Ipman responded that, they have to take products from the private depots in Lagos and some other private depots. I don't know, others, but I know the one in Ijegun, that they have to carry PMS from those depots at 200 naira per litre, and that they cannot get to the filling stations and still sell at that amount. NNPC in response says that they will do a price slash from those private depots as well to ensure that Ipman can then sell within the regulated price. Are you not foreseeing a subsidy inside subsidy? If the private depots are landing at that amount and giving products to Ipman subscribers at that amount, it means that there's a cost that they've already covered with that increase. If you slash it, who is going to further pay the subsidy on that amount to get it to the 148 that's supposed to leave depot at?
As you noticed, the issue of subsidy was presented before the House, and in the wisdom of the finance ministry, they made a projection only for 6 months, half of this budget calendar, and it is very sensitive. Any increase on the burden, it means that the subsidy will not even last up to the 6 months. So anybody expecting the government to subsidize further on what we have subsidized that runs into trillions, it's living a fool's paradise. The truth is that is not going to happen. We believe that the government has done what it's supposed to do in view of our economic reality, and to go on subsidizing on top of the subsidy that we have at the moment, I don't think it's something that the House will be able to go ahead with if it's presented. But having said that, when we call them in 7 days, these are some of the issues they will present to us. If they are cogent reasons, we will look at that. But if they remain as flimsy as all the excuses they've given to us before now, definitely speaking, the House is not going to be on their side. The House will be on the side of Nigeria.
Honorable, please, I hear the conversation at the House of Representatives, and I see the body language of, from my own perspective, let us not look like we are not responding to the crisis without actually dealing with the root of the crisis. That's the way, personally, I see it. You can prove me wrong. But we all know, whether we like it or not, we are going to remove subsidy. This is an election game. It is a countdown to election and handover. Then it's the next person's problem, how they want to deal with the crisis of when the subsidy goes. Why is the House of Representatives not talking to the people in a way like shows you understand the reality? Whether you remove it now, you remove it in 6 months' time, you will remove the subsidy. Price of petrol will go up. We are going to deal with that reality. What are the other things that can be put in place in the budget now to ensure that when that happens, all of the things will not go into crisis? That for me would be a more realistic approach to solve the problem that would happen then. Whether we do 7 months ultimatum now, it still won't make any difference. In 6 months' time, 7 months' time maximum, subsidies out, we'll be paying a lot of money for petrol.
The budget planning and economic planning, they are not based on sentiment. They are based on economic reality.
Okay.
They are not based on wishes of people that goes up and down. They are based on fundamental analysis of economic indicators carried out by those who are charged with that responsibility. And we don't just wake up and increase subsidy or reduce subsidy. They are done based on information, data collected by the economic experts. And like I mentioned, we have made a projection that was approved by the House. If there's any reason for it to be increased or reduced, it will be presented to the House.
Okay.
Not because somebody said so. The money we have spent so far on subsidy is enough. And I said, the intelligence report revealed, and which was confirmed by the president of 8 man, that there is availability of products. So the president of this country, the government of this country has made products available in the various depots.
All right, let me go on a break, sir.
If the marketers are trying to sabotage the economy, there is a space for it. Economic sabotage is a crime. And that is what we are going to be looking at. If there is anybody somewhere that is trying to project this unregulated pricing, while some stations are selling at a regulated price, others are selling at the unregulated price. So, I mean, who is behind this?
All right, let me go on a break, sir. I have to pause you for a second. Let me go on a quick break. When I come back, we'll continue with this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Ikechukwu, Sunday, Okonkwo, aka Cross. Now your intro without
wow.
So there's a name that thing that's.
I'm just drinking because you say I should drink. There's no particular answer.
You think it's only that can be wicked?
What's the answer?
Subterfuge.
Eh?
Yeah. They claim you did, but you said it just happened. That
and it's called what again?
Subterfuge.
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 So you look me finish from head to toe. You look at a person who go know what to become such. Yeah?
The nude wasn't like a game plan. Or...
I promise you, it was actually a mistake.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help welcome to the show, La General, the one and only Pere Egbe. Which of the following is false about teeth? We are born with 20 primary teeth. Teeth are the hardest substance in the body. Teeth are the strongest bones in the body.
Teeth is not a bone, actually.
Teeth can self-repair.
The strongest bone in the body, no. Teeth is not a bone.
Final answer?
Teeth is not a bone. You know what came to my head now? That sound. Crickets.
So, editor, you can put that cricket sound there. You can still put it down too.
And ask questions if I want to ask questions. And if it's something that I saw coming, I may not even ask questions. I may just... I may even tell you I saw this.
What if it's in person? But then, would it make a difference where? So, like, this person might just say, you people can just be on 3rd Milan Bridge on a bike. And the person say, babe, I cannot do it again. And you lose range. So, what would change the scenario? Like, does it matter where? Do you want to have like a fancy dinner, like the film you were meant to be talking about? Or do you want to be on the street?
No, carry me go fancy dinner.
Or you might just una dey run for treadmill.
Or you na dey jog.
You tell you lose for your web.
Now I don't turn attempted murder.
So which would it be? Because I'm like, in person you have the closure that you want and the few injuries.
Guys, that's one place. It could be inside the car. We can sit inside the car.
Why car? Why not bike?
Who will be driving?
Why bike?
Who will be driving at this point?
The car will be stationary.
Pray I'm not the one driving.
The car will be stationary.
Because I go master. You can't be telling me like me. I'm gonna drive near water. You must consider.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome the one who can make time stand still forever, Mr. Kelechi Amadi. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, my brother.
You love that intro, Abi?
Yeah. It was great.
Okay,
Thank you.
We try like that.
Thank you.
Now my question, which I feel is a cheap question.
Oh, go ahead.
What does ISO stand for?
That is it. I think I'll drink.
No, you're joking.
I'm not joking.
Kelechi Amadi. No. Shay, you didn't whine me. You're whining me now.
I think I'll drink.
Huh?
No problem.
Okay.
I've always known it as ISO. I never bothered to know what it means. I know what it means, but I never bothered to know what the acronym is. Tell me the brand of camera that I use, so much so that I even became an ambassador. That is
Benjamin Kalu, who is discussing the NNPC ultimatum to get to NNPC for 7 days. We'll put that on hold for a second because I feel that there are different issues that are being raised right now. But the other issue I'd like to ask you, Honorable, before you leave, is about this recent CBN 100,000 naira limits per week for individuals and I think 500,000 for companies. What's the National Assembly's take on that? Because I hear that you're still discussing it and there's not been a real directive from the National Assembly. What's your position on this for now?
Yeah, thank you very much. It must be made clear that the legislative arm and the executive arm, we are pursuing one national objective, which is nation building, which we believe is a joint task. And when we take position, we don't take position because we want to assume a position that is acrimonious or rancorous, with the position of or the position of the executive. We are looking at the provisions of our laws, especially section, I think it's section 8 subsection 4 and subsection 5 of the CBN Act 2007, which has some provisions that periodically the CBN governor ought to interact with the National Assembly to brief the National Assembly on issues bordering on, effort in making the activities and the plans of the board, especially with concern with regards to monetary policy. And this is one of them, and we summoned a committee on banking and currency, and we asked whether or not these particular provisions of the extant law has been complied with. And they answered in affirmative that it has not been complied with. They said no, it has not been complied with. And we asked why. Because we are seeing policies upon policies coming out, policies upon policies being churned out by the CBN, and the Parliament is actually, not aware of the reasons behind some of those policies. Many have argued that they are independent, they can do what they want to do, and there should not be any interference. But there is a law establishing CBN under the CBN Act 2007. We notice it has not been complied with. So we are inviting him. Today is actually supposed to be the day he's supposed to sit with us and explain to us the reasons behind these policies. But many have argued as well that the issue of withdrawal limits infringes on the provisions of, I think it's Section 2 of the Money Laundering Act of 2022, which says 5 million for individuals, 10 million for corporate organizations. So which means if you are going to bring out a policy that infringes on the extant law, you have to amend that law first.
Right.
So that is one of the things we need to sit down and discuss with him.
Right.
Many have also argued that the right to property as allowed by Section 44 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has been also infringed by this policy, argued by our own very own Falana and so many erudite scholars.
Right.
So these are some of the things we sit down with them to know what informed this, is it in line with the law, instant laws, and how do we go about it?
All right, we'll wait for that conversation you're going to be having with the CBN governor, and hopefully Nigerians can know exactly what the way forward is concerning this policy, because many people are really concerned about the effects of the policy on the Nigerian economy. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, it's Wednesday. We're bringing a woman we love. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Drama is...
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome pioneer Positive Force member, dancing queen of the 80s, non-conformist, Afrobeat historian in her right, and long-standing member of the multiple award-winning all-female show Your View, Omoyeni Yeni Anikulapo Kuti, aka YK Power! Ginger! Take it. Today we'll go here.
Hey, I don't read you.
Are you sure?
I know. I'm not here to answer questions. I'm here to drink.
We're in trouble today.
Wait till your age.
I was close now.
I
said 1975.
He said 73. He said 75. Fellas wasn't even born till 75.
So will I drink half?
You go drink. Take. Make I help you. Russian.
No be half.
Which half? You will make me drink. I'll give you a hint.
Lights in no. Nepa Road. Nepa Road in Abeokuta.
First of all, my brain cannot memorize everything.
A big black bug.
A big black dog.
Bug. A big black bug.
Oh, sorry. A big.
It don't start.
Ọmọ fẹlá. Ọmọ Anikulapo Kuti. Wọ́n rò pé kí ni kékeré yìí.
It's by Audison. It's not by Audison.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known, for when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century, speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome University of Texas graduate, lasting a total of 9 weeks in the Big Brother house, actor and CEO of Alpha Records, Alpha Apparel and Feno Cuisine, the one and only Tokwe Adenibunyo, aka Teddy A.
Madu.
Now my question, Teddy A. The first letter of the Greek alphabet is Alpha.
This man.
You think I'm about to ask you the last one?
No, I don't need. Let me start drinking.
The 16th letter is Pi.
Pi.
You didn't know that. What is the third Greek alphabet called?
Better. Better.
Final answer?
Yeah.
You are wrong. Alpha Beta.
You are wrong. Wow.
Yes. Drink. Oh, we have a tie.
How do we have a tie now?
That's so good to know.
How do we have a tie? You missed one.
I drank.
How come?
Look at this man.
Some fish is going on here.
Nothing fishing is going down.
Where did my mother? Where?
I can't do this again.
It's a family question. Quite a family question. Where did my mother live?
Ogba.
Ogba?
Yeah.
Can I answer?
Yeah.
Going once?
Yeah.
Ogba?
Mm-hmm.
Ah! Damn. This guy. Get crystal ball.
No.
Thanks for staying with us. So with us on the show right now is Jumoke Adeyemi. She's a global conference speaker and author, a seasoned minister, and an executive vice president of the Global Harvest International Churches. She's passionate about discovering potentials and talents in people while also challenging them to bring out the best in them. I should actually call you Pastor Adeyemi because you've been pastoring for 30 years. Welcome with us, Pastor Adeyemi, in the building.
Thank you so much.
Good to have you on the show. So once in a while, we bring in women who are doing great things in Nigeria, just to showcase them on the show, because it's important for us to celebrate women and not just look at just women that we know, but there are other women who are doing such important things and are impacting lives. Tell us a bit about yourself, your background, how you got into the ministry, and the kind of NGOs you're doing and what you're trying to hope to achieve.
Well, okay, so, you know my name, Jumoke Adeyemi is my name. I've been in ministry for 30 years, over 30 years, and I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother.
Oh, wow, you don't look like a grandma.
And I'm married to Reverend Victor Adeyemi. We pastor Global Harvest Church, but beyond that also, I run some business and also run an initiative, which is an NGO. So basically, an initiative that is to reach out to the poor, to give hope in this VUCA times, because things are volatile, they're unpredictable, they're complex, ambiguous. It's people are holding on by the thread,
right,
in some instances, and sometimes when you meet people it reminds you that you're also a human being, and that, you know, it's not about privilege or anything. You're just a person or a woman who has been helped by God. So it pushes your heart to help somebody else, because you just never know. You know, because we place value on life, you never know who you're going to touch, because it may just be the president of this nation. It may be the person that is going to discover the cure to AIDS or cancer or something that looks like they're around right now.
The this conversation, because before you came, at some point, we were talking about the prices of food. People are managing. In fact, there's no, I can't even say managing. People are just holding on by the thread, as you said. As somebody who is a leader, and you see, how do you help? How do you identify? How do you know families to support? Do they come to you? Do you open channels, or you just go out to the streets? How do you reach out to these people?
Okay, so first of all, I'm passionate about the poor. I'm passionate about people who need hope. And so that drives what it is that we do. We look for a community where there's help, where there's need, where there's a need. So say, for instance, the last time we had an outreach, it was under the bridge. I never for the life of me knew that there was a community there. And in that whole, it's called Wasemi. I'm sure some of you would know where that is. In that whole community, there's just one toilet and one bathroom.
Kidding me.
With hundreds of people.
Wow.
And so we went there to reach out to them, medical aids. We gave back to school to children, because we came to realize that there are children. I've encountered children extremely intelligent. Nigerian children are intelligent, extremely intelligent, but they can't go back to school because their mom is unable to send them. So we go out to support them. Right now we're supporting some students in primary school in Makoko, and we're paying their school fees for the year. So it's full sponsorship for the children. There are 10 of them. Now, the 10 that we sponsored last year, 2 of them have graduated into secondary school, and we're not going to leave them alone, so we've taken those as well. And then
let me get a few more people to answer your questions.
Okay, so whenever we talk to pastors' wives, the conversation tends to be around philanthropy, you know, and I feel that there's a whole lot more that we don't talk about.
Right.
And there's a whole lot of body of knowledge that people don't hear about. They only hear about the spiritual and the giving and the empowerment, but you do business, you know, and I want you to give us insight to your business, the business part of what you do. What were the challenges being a pastor's wife and trying to run a business, and people now thinking she shouldn't be doing it, or should she be doing it? Give us that story, because I'm sure somebody is a pastor's wife and is trying to find
our feet as well. So when I started the business, it was a boutique. I'm passionate about decent dressing. I like class. I like simplicity. I like you looking good. And I like people being spiritual but also looking good. So that drove my passion to it. However, we wanted to start it also to support our own family. And so it was something that was needful at the time. And in this kind of instance, you must understand that, like in the scriptures, there's something about the virtuous woman in Proverbs 31. And that woman, even though she's a believer or somebody who seeks God, she is into entrepreneurship. Basically, she owns land. She's into clothing. She runs different types of businesses. She even imports things, you know, to sell. Yet she keeps a good home. And so I want to say to women, like you were talking about your dream the other time, your dream versus your family life. The truth of the matter is, every person, regardless of whether you're a woman or a man, everybody has a dream. Before you became Mrs. Somebody, you were somebody. So what are you going to do about that dream? A lot of times people bury their dreams in view of family. There's a way you can manage the two. You can be good in business and good in the home front, and that takes a lot of wisdom and a lot of planning.
Because of time, I have to throw in so many questions in for you, because I want to get a lot of meat from you. Emma, let me let you jump in here.
Because this is Women We Love, let me talk about your educational background. I found out that you mastered in psychology.
Personnel psychology.
Personnel psychology, and you're a pastor.
Right.
So how do you marry this? Do you still practice as a psychologist, or does it just, enhance your work as a pastor?
Exactly, it enhances my work as a pastor, and it was very, very useful in administration because for about 20 years, I handled administration in the church, and you need to understand how to work with people, whether they're staff or they're members. Any which way, you must understand how to work with people. That emotional intelligence is you're learning as you're working with them. And, in personnel psychology, you learn a lot about people, how to manage people, how to work with people. There are different kinds of people that you meet, whether you're working in the secular or you're working in business or ministry, whatever way. Life is all about people.
Right.
So knowing how to relate with people, knowing how to manage people, knowing how to bring the best out of people so that it can be productive for the organization, and most especially bring out the potentials in them, which is very critical, because most times organizations want the best out of people without giving anything back. There's got to be something's got to give. So every organization, every organization that is interested in people, in their personnel, their welfare, their paycheck, their family, thinking about all that, puts together, it all comes together in personnel psychology, because you want to understand what they are thinking. That way it motivates the organization to know how to take care of these people.
I'll pause you for a second. Once I entered marriage, because marriage is such a critical part when it comes to women. Church people and marriage. It's always so difficult because many of us try to stick to the Bible.
Right.
But the definition of a good home is ever changing, because you are constantly dealing with men who are not being groomed for this institution. And we women are there, we're so perfect wives, but we also have things to do. So as a pastor's wife, and I'll let Waike jump in here to add our own question, how are the church women, many of them are not happy. I won't say many of them, just say some of them, so I'm not saying I'm generalizing. Many church wives or Christian wives are not happy. And it's because they're not fulfilled, not just as regards business. Marriage, that marriage is not fulfilling for them, but they're just managing because they are good women and they have to endure it because that's what that they have to stay. So how do we help those kind of women to find fulfillment, especially when the men are not listening, they're not interested?
The truth of the matter is, we have to help the men. Many times, all of us are women. We grew up, your mom will teach you, oh, this is how to take care of a hot man, this is what to do with in-laws, this is what not to do with in-laws, they'll teach you how to bathe, everybody has a dolly. So the girl child is over-schooled. But nobody is talking to the men. It's not as if nobody, but most men don't have the tutelage, the kind of tutelage at par that women do have. And so that's a starting point, because this question is a very huge burden for me. But for the women who are suffering and groaning under this kind of situation, because what you said is so true, in church and even transcends church, because I've counseled with people, women in church, I've counseled with women outside of church. It's a general thing. It's almost universal that people get into marriage, and there's a lot going on. First of all, but let me categorize it into a few places. One, before people get married, there's a need for counseling, proper counseling, church counseling, and now I would dare say, go for professional counseling, particularly if people are coming from two different backgrounds.
Thank you.
Because many times, they're not coming from the same kind of backgrounds. And a marriage is not just happy because, two happy merry-go people just got married and I love you. Listen, love is blind, but marriage will open your eyes. Because you get to know that person for who they are. When the light goes out, when everybody has carried their gilly from your one and they are gone home, and everything, you would get to know that person, how they snore, how they, whatever it is that they do, you get to live the whole package. You get to live with them, and so these are the issues. What do these women do? First, I would say, believe in yourself first, and I say that with caution, because a lot of the times, our maternal instinct allows us to throw ourselves away to take care of husband, children, society, in-law, everybody but us. Who's looking out for you?
Let me pause you there because I want to let YK throw in a question before we wrap up. Go ahead, YK.
No, I was just, you made a statement. You said nobody is advising the men. And you have this hers that you founded that's for women again.
Yes.
Do you think you should start something for men to start to take care of the men? Because there's obviously a vacuum where the men are concerned.
Yes, I actually started something. You always start from where you are, with what you have. So what we did was to start a meeting for men in church. I mean, I ran a meeting with the men in our church for 1 month.
Did they show up?
They did. Oh, every Sunday. Because the truth of the matter is, let me say this, men too want a good home.
But they don't know how.
But they don't know how. So we also have to understand that a lot of men are innocently, honestly, yes,
very goofy.
They're not wicked.
That's how my daddy did it.
They're not bad men. They are not bad at heart. My father made his own mistake. But looking back, now I can tell where he erred. I can appreciate his struggles. But as a child, I didn't understand. So many of these men are innocently,
but they're proud about it. They won't tell you. Go and learn. There are plenty of coaches out there. They don't want to learn.
Yes.
No, but she said innocent.
You see,
so if you're innocent, you don't know that you're
yes.
doing the right thing.
You see, a person can be arrogant and not even know they are. So when a man marries a woman and feels like she's a property and stuff like this, and he treats her any kind of way, he got mentorship from his dad. Not that the daddy sat him down or his uncle to say, this is how you do it.
The examples.
He sees how she treats. He treated his mom. The environment. We all learn from your environment, from the people around you, from your experience in life, from the environment in life. All of us are a microcosm of different aspects of life that has shaped us into who we are. And so that man has been shaped from somewhere. Somebody probably went on duty, asleep on duty. So these are all the challenges. And so we started that meeting. Men came every Sunday. We were there. Some Sundays we were there for 3 hours because they were curious as well. They would ask questions. Some of them are good men in your church then, hopefully. They didn't train. No, they're married men. Okay, but we allowed singles in so they can start learning.
So there's some trained men in the global church. Global
Harvest Church.
Some good trained men there, so you can go there for a husband. That's all we can take. Thank you so much, madam, for joining. It was a pleasure having you to learn, because you're right, we need lots of coaching and grooming for our men. Many of them are not prepared for this industry called marriage. That's all we can take on tomorrow's show. See you tomorrow on today's show. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.